So a new rebalance update dropped a week ago, featuring 9 new mechs and 2 new weapons. I know, very huge. As well as minor aesthetic changes to certain maps. In this video, we'll be going over the new mechs and show off how they're intended to be played for anybody that wants to use them in the game nights. We'll start off with the Grasshopper. This is a light mech based off of the Owens and Hackman. It's also base 48 just like those two. It's got 3 lasers and 2 LRMs and flare. Mainly designed to be a long range harasser. Not really designed for brawling at all. And yeah, pretty simple. The next and arguably more interesting of the two lights is the Talon. This is based off the Raven and Corvus, and this is the first mech that has a new weapon. These are burst lasers. They're almost like a burst rifle in a way compared to the regular lasers, firing off in 3. They get stronger with every level. There's also got 2 autocannons and 2 SRMs. This is designed to be much more of a brawler compared to the Grasshopper, though it is a little bit awkward to use, so I would not recommend new players picking up yet until they learn how to weapon switch effectively to get the most out of this mech. It's also got jump jets too, which allows for high mobility. So that's about it for this one. Next on the list we have the Mariel, which is a medium based off of the Uzil and Belial. This one also has burst lasers, 2 of them, as well as machine guns, and 2 mortars, which is the second new weapon we've made in this update. This one is kinda awkward to use because none of its weapons synergize particularly well with each other, and also on top of that makes it very high skilled, so new players should avoid this as well. Generally, I would suggest to try and focus heavier targets if using this or the Talon, especially ones that can't move that well, be it because they're slow, because they don't have jump jets, and you'll probably find success playing that one, because otherwise I don't really see how else you could play this mech. But it's only been 1 week. I'm sure all of the mechs will be figured out in time. Here is the first of our heavies. This is the Jackal, based on the Vulture and Mad Dog. A little slower than both of them, but it's got jump jets to compensate for that, and Nullsig as well. This is the more interesting of the 2 mortar mechs because it's got 4 of them, which can actually deal heavy damage at long range. Nullsig also makes it so that you're very safe when you're trying to engage far off distances, since they can't immediately see you. You can just get free damage on them, especially on stuff like bridges, which are usually going to be choke points on maps like these. But you do suffer at close range since your weapons aren't really designed for that purpose. They're slow and don't help very much against fast brawlers like Lights or the Mad Dog. This one is a mech I would really suggest a lot of people learn, just because mortars are going to be very essential to the new meta, as they help stave off assaults. And you're going to be seeing a lot of those in this update too. So if you're able to pick this up and learn it decently well, then you'll do well in the game nights. The next heavy we'll discuss is the Hellstorm, based off of the Catapult and Bowman. And as you can see, it is immediately faster than either of the two, also wielding jump jets and Nullsig. It's got 2 burst lasers and 4 SRMs. So it's designed to be full-on brawler. You can't really poke at long range with this since the lasers aren't the most accurate. Nullsig helps you get up close along with your high base speed, so you can ambush and surprise people coming from a corner or something like that, or using your height advantage. You just dive in on a target. And this one's relatively simple to use, so I would suggest people pick it up. Very easy, very useful. Got high burst at close range. It's gonna be a very useful asset to any team comp. After that, we have the Vortex, which is based on the Loki and Hellbringer. It's a little bit more of a simpler loadout as well. 2 lasers, 2 Goth, and 2 LRMs. Flare, no jump jets. Decent stats overall though. It's about as fast as the Hellbringer, base 34 I believe. And this one's designed to be a carry, and a carry is basically a mech that can carry the whole team. It's got the most responsibility in taking kills, weakening the opponents, taking salvage, and your whole team is relying on you to be a successful carry. Kinda like the Timby in a way, but more long range capacity. If you're learning this, You're probably going to be the main guy in your team, so you have to be pretty good at the game to get the most out of it. Because yeah, its loadout is simple, but its role is you need to have the mentality of being able to carry a lot of responsibility. Although if you already have a carry in your team like a Timby or a Hellbringer, this mech would be pretty good supporter in that comp, and just in general it's a pretty good mech. The last of our heavies we've made is the Thanatos. This is a Thor/Summoner based off model, and it, unlike the other two, lacks jump jets. So you have to keep that in mind when you're playing it. It's got 2 PPCs, 2 autos, and 2 SRMs. So this is basically another carry mech, and it's supposed to solve the problem of the Thor models not having a long range option, because the Thor and Summoner can't really do much at long range. So we gave the Thanatos 2 PPCs to remedy that, and now it can actually poke at safer distances instead of just brawling. But it's also able to brawl because of the autocannon and SRM combos, and the flare keeps you safe at that distance. Once again, a carry mech means that you have to take on a lot of responsibility, but if you build your team right and supply this mech with a lot of blue salvage, like coming from Hellbringer, Mad Dog, or Puma, you should find great success with this mech. Although I do think we might be buffing it a little bit because it overheats pretty easily, especially with its loadout designed to brawl more than snipe. This was the mech I was excited for the most because I really wanted a Thor that lived up to its mythology, lightning and thunder. And there you go. Now we're getting into some of the juicier stuff. This is our first assault, the Warlord, based off Chromium Atlas. Immediately faster than the two, it should be base sturdy, nullsig, PPCs, quad SRMs, and quad machine guns. Very flexible, and because of the whole nullsig thing we got going on, this thing is also known as the Spooky Atlas because you can just be hiding in a place like this, like just staying still. And then when you see someone approach, you can start hitting them with machine guns and SRMs, or you can even just start charging the PPCs right in front of them to traumatize it completely before firing them off, and then just shredding them with the rest of your loadouts. But it doesn't have much going in the way of defenses beyond health, so if you're caught alone, you're gonna get ripped apart very easily. And yeah, you're fast, but you're not that much faster than something like a Timby. So if you play this mech with care, you're able to do a lot for your team. The last of our new mechs, and possibly the strongest one of them all, is the Bleeding Star, based on the Rag and Ymir. Its weapons are 2 burst lasers, 2 machine guns, and quad SRMs. While that may not seem too unique at first glance, the shield has been changed significantly. It's got a different color, it also lasts longer, but as a trade-off, recharges slower. So what this mech is designed to do is just throw yourself into the front line. Who cares about safety? Just engage the shield, start shredding with your lasers and SRMs, and help coordinate great pushes with your team. And then you just easily get a good advantage at any stage of the game, really. Early game, yeah, but this does pretty well into the late game when you got upgrades. Just the sheer damage it outputs is amazing. And I would also suggest you guys pick it up. And that's pretty much it for all the new mechs, but there were a few other notable changes that came in this patch. So for all you Cougar fans that have been waiting the entirety of the game's lifespan for a good Cougar, here you go. Quad pulse lasers. About time. The rest of its loadout just got slight buffs, with the autos reloading a little faster and better heat management to withstand the heat that these quad pulse lasers output. But now the Cougar can actually do something in a fight and not just be a troll, I guess. With quad pulse lasers, you're able to hit targets that are bigger than you for higher damage, then combo well with your autocannons. And LRMs are good for poking at long range. That's what they've always done, really. It truly has been a bit of a journey with the Cougar since its inception, because at first it had like 1 autocannon and no ability, which was embarrassing. It could do absolutely nothing in the vanilla meta. Then we gave it 2 autocannons and a flare to try and make it resemble the Mech 2 version, and that one wasn't doing too well either because its pick rate was very low. So we finally decided to give it quad LRM to try and shake things up a bit, and results are looking promising. So, Cougar cells, rejoice! Another light mech that saw a little bit of a buff was the Uller. The Uller went from being complete garbage with just 1 SRM and 2 lasers to machine guns, 2 SRMs, and high mobility in the air. And in this recent patch, we buffed its cooling rate as well, so it can actually brawl for a sustained amount of time. Because even with everything we gave it before this update, it still tended to overheat quite a bit, so it couldn't really do anything. And as a result, you never saw it getting picked either. But with this, it should actually give it a purpose as like an Owens, but with a little bit more damage output. Because in this update, we also nerfed target jammer duration. So a lot of target jammer mechs got impacted by that, except the Corvus. That one got to keep its extended target jammer. Otherwise, the ability is weaker as a whole. So if you want a little bit more damage when you're brawling and more mobility in general, because you've got jump jets, I would suggest Ullr over Owens. And this one is the one I was looking forward to the most, because now that Hellbringer can actually live up to its name. The heat on its flamers at level 1 and level 2 has been reduced. So now it's actually able to brawl for a sustained amount of time, just like the Ullr in a way. The flamers have always been like a good weapon, but just they made too much heat, and that made it an issue to use in fights. Which is why Timby was more popular as a carry mech than Hellbringer. But with this change, and just more options for teams that rely on energy weapons, with more mechs dropping loose salvage when they die, Hellbringer is about to increase in popularity by a lot. And also, the meta has been trending towards hyper offense, so a lot of lights and fast heavies are being picked. And the flamers do really well into that, so you're going to be seeing Hellbringer a lot because of that too. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. It's a little quick just because I wanted to get it out while the update was still fresh in everyone's minds. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone that came to the events we posted over the past weeks, because this update has been pretty fun. I can't wait to keep playing more of it. And also, no, I did not forget about the tier list update. That's gonna come in due time.